Well, people have been bugging me to make a video of my rocks since the last two or whatever. It was probably a year and a half or 2 years ago, so I kind of picked through some. It's going to be a long video anyways, probably, but I'll try to do as quick as I can. I just picked through some that look pretty neat, and yeah, so we'll just go from there. So first of all, we got this big one out here. I carried this rock home. This is only half of it, and I was hoping there's better in it than what there is, but basically all there is a vein of nickeline right up there on the top, which is still pretty cool. It's a good chunk of it, but to carry the giant rock home, really not worth it. It is pretty heavy. I did break it in half just to see if there's anything else in there, but I don't really see anything else that's standing out, at least right now. So I might break it again another day, maybe try to chip that vein off the top of there, who knows. But anyway, so there's that. Now this one, you can see veins of calcite, and there's some anorite staining or aetheryte too, so I'm assuming somewhere through here there's going to be nickeline, and definitely some cobalt in those little thin veins. There is more, almost looks like quartz here. It could just be calcite, like little veins through it here and there and wherever, so who knows, there could be better in this rock than what it looks like. It is fairly heavy, but again, I don't actually see any kind of silver, and like barely even anything as far as cobalt goes, like a little bit here. Probably nickeline and cobalt down in here. And then that top piece there is going to be cobalt, and might even have a little bit of silver, because if you can see, there's some shininess to it down in there. Anyways, don't really have high hopes for it. Again, hauled a big rock home, basically for nothing at the end of the day. So yeah, now we'll go, I guess, to these. Now this looks like it has some cobalt on the top, and it's really red, so there might be a bit of silver in there. Sparkliness you see there, though, isn't actually silver. There's a little bit of cobalt, and then there's some sparkles, little wee ones in here, that are actually bismuth. And on this side, hopefully you can freaking see this, there's like, it's almost too bright here. Hopefully it looks better than it does on the screen. Usually it does, but you never know. So like in here, there's bismuth crystals. I don't know if it'll actually pick them up decent. Maybe. Anyways, then there's plates that run through it too. Run down here, through here. All those little lines basically are plates of bismuth. And then you can see in the bottom of here, there's some cobalt again, with definitely little pieces of bismuth in it, and maybe a bit of silver. It's a little hard to tell. Fucking thing keeps having to readjust. And then down in this piece here, almost looks like a bit of silver, so it's hard to say. And definitely some cobalt. Anyways, these other pieces, this is a piece off the same rock. A little more signs of cobalt in there. You can actually see some different colored bismuth crystals in there, like there's some gold ones down here, blue up here, blue over here. I don't know if you'll be able to see them in here or not, but hopefully. And then the side, some bismuth crystals in here, definitely some cobalt. It looks pretty dark, so there's a good chance there might be some silver, but I don't really have high hopes for it. Yeah, that's about it for that one. Now these littler pieces are all from the same rock too. You might be able to see the crystals better on this one. Like there's one here, well, a bunch of little plates almost, and then same in the end there. And they're super shiny, and like, that one almost is like a platinum color, but there's like gold color, and there's also like blue and like oil slick kind of colors. And then on this top piece here, there's some more cobalt. And then you can see some almost goldish color and a little bit of blue down in here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on here, but that's all bismuth too. It doesn't show as good on the screen as I was hoping. So this here is probably just a good mix of cobalt, maybe some silver, probably little bits of bismuth in the vein part of it, and then on this edge here, there's some bismuth in there that you can see reflecting light there pretty decently. They're almost like a copper color on this one, on that spot anyway. Bismuth again. One of these little pieces has a pretty awesome bit in it, but again here, all that goldish color is bismuth. Stupid phone. Does decent video, but it's not the greatest. Then in here, cobalt's the main mineral, and then more little goldish kind of bismuth crystals. Same in the end there. You almost think it's nickeline, but it's like too coppery, and if you really look at it, it's like flat pieces, like slabs almost. This one has like a platinum kind of color. Whoops. Bismuth in there. Right in there, you can see a little bit of blue kind of sparkling. And then basically just some dolomite and probably cobalt on the top where that stain is there. There's like a little thin something there. Little piece of mostly bismuth. This one you might actually see something of the actual shape of it. If it'll ever fucking focus. You have to stay that far away. So yeah, it's not really worth much. You can buy kits to grow your own crystals. Another crystal of it in there. You can grow some really crazy looking bismuth stuff, like, anyways. So in here, more, like all the really sparkly shiny stuff in these rocks is all bismuth, and there's a bunch. This one's loaded. Right in there, there's a good crystal formation. But it is a rare mineral regardless. And for it to be native, like in cool looking crystal form like that, it's pretty rare. You see a bit of crystals just like out beside my finger there. So yeah, if you get bored of watching these, oh well. There will be some more silver stuff very shortly in the same video. So you can see some blue crystals sort of in there. It's also bismuth, reflecting light, a blue piece here. Really shiny, coppery kind of colored one there. And this piece, there's almost like little plates of it again. You can see a bunch of it on that side. So I mean, it's pretty neat. But I know it's not what everyone's here to see, so we'll go to the side. Okay, so these are a bunch of rocks all from basically one site. I did scrub them up a bit, but I didn't clean them really well. But if you look, it's going to be base of cobalt, but there is some silver that maybe you can see in the video, maybe you can't. This one has really red staining on it. And you guys saw, so I can cut them. This one you can see definitely silver all on this edge. That's all silver on there. And basically through there. And there's some cobalt mixed in it too, but like this is all fairly pure silver. This damn thing will ever focus. It's all pretty pure silver. I didn't polish any of this or anything, I just scrubbed it with a toothbrush. You can see it's mostly cobalt, but if you really look, you can see some bright spots like in here. That's all silver too. This one, again, mostly what you see is cobalt. There is some sparkly-ish, kind of shiny, I should say, silver that you can sort of see in there. I can see it decent anyway. This is a piece that didn't really get cleaned as well as the rest, but there's ambergite and also erythrite on there. It's just a big chunk of the vein, so that would be nice to probably slice this way and see what it actually looks like inside. It looks like the side of a little thin vein there too. Still dirt on it and stuff. This one, you can see some silver here, a bunch of cobalt, silver up through this side. I don't know if you can see it down in here or not. It's just kind of shine through and mixed in the cobalt. That'd be a fairly mixed metal. Most of the silver probably has cobalt like blended right in through it. This rock, hopefully you can see, but there's silver all here. There we go. And also all underneath. It looks like there's a piece of rock that broke off the edge of it on this side. I don't know if you'll be able to actually see, but yeah, there's a little spot here. There's, like, it shows more in person, I think, than this video will, but this stuff here is silver. So how far does it go through there? I really don't know, because I can see more back here. It's a pretty heavy rock. You can also see more up in here. All those really white looking kind of spots there, and up in here, that's all silver. And like right through the bottom of it, that's the best part. So this one will be awesome to get cut, and that's like basically the size of my fist, so that's neat. This one, you can see the calcite vein. There's a really crazy shape in it, like there's like basically pieces of rock here and there in it. And you can see some silver kind of coming through too. Mixed in a bunch of cobalt, of course. There's a lump of silver on this end here. Hopefully the camera does a better job recording than it does displaying on the screen. This little bit here is silver. And there's probably a bunch all mixed in the rest of the cobalt. So that one might look really good cut this way too. Just so you can get the different veins and like, who knows. Oh, that looks like some kind of pyrite. Anyway, so those are all from one spot. And these ones, these are different pyrites, and I just learned that pyrite will also tarnish, or whatever you want to call it, in the weather to turn to oil slick look color. So there's like orange and yellowish in there. And up here we have a really bright blue, a bit of purple, some gold kind of color. Who knows what else, so that's kind of cool looking. This one, this pyrite here, you can probably see pretty decent. And then I'm thinking this might even be galena. If not, it's cobalt and silver mixed, because there's definitely, I would say, silver in there. I highly doubt there's galena here that didn't have a bunch of silver in it. But it could just be cobalt, it's hard to say. But obviously it's all metal, you can totally see that. This one I scrubbed down pretty decent because I could see both colors and I wanted to kind of investigate it a bit. This is just a big chunk. I thought it was nickeline at the start. I'm starting to think now that it really isn't, because it's not very heavy at all, so it's probably pyrite like that. This one, on the other hand, could have nickeline, probably some cobalt in that vein in the middle there. Probably some iron because it's pretty dark stained, but it could have been the rocks beside it. It's really hard to tell without actually opening it up, kind of thing, breaking it or cutting it to see. But it looks interesting, so I brought it home. Another big chunk of pyrite. Another one. Just big crystals basically out of a rock. More, and some calcite. It's not too often you'll find a bunch of it, but you do. Another big huge chunk in the end of a calcite. Actually looks like more like dolomite. Got a bit of different color changing stuff happening in there. Pretty neat. Don't see any other kind of metals, maybe a little in here. That's about it. And then this big rock here. Let's see if I can do it from this side. I had high hopes, and I kind of still have hopes that there's something else in it, but I doubt there really is. So there's a little crystal up here. It's kind of like a, I don't know, bronze, coppery kind of color to it. This is all pyrites too. Up there, same kind of thing on the top. A big crystal here. And then there's little bits in here, and then this, I'm thinking, is probably galena too, if not cobalt mixed. Might not even be mixed, it looks pretty pure, but it might be cobalt. But it's kind of neat because it's like blended right in with the pyrite, and that pyrite goes right through the rock out into here on both sides. You can see the edges of the crystals on this side on that big one, and then just a bunch of them all in the side of the rock. This rock's about the size of a bicycle helmet, basically, to give it a guess. And then again, here's another piece of whatever the other metal is. It looks like it's probably cobalt. It's really hard to say. Yeah, otherwise, either crystallized calcite, maybe quartz even. I really don't know how to tell the difference at that point. Usually calcite's just white stuff like that fills cracks in rocks. But I know it does crystallize, and that's looking pretty white. But then again, so does quartz, so I'm not actually a rock expert. I just find some cool stuff around cobalt and make videos of it. So anyways, I'll put that one out of the way. That takes care of all those. So here, there's going to be just a bunch that I pretty much cut and polished part of, or like broke, sanded flat, whatever. So this is a big, basically almost pure silver. So damn shiny, it's hard to get a decent picture of it. But I would say it's silver and sapphirite. It was etched out of calcite. But then I also cut it in half with a grinder, basically, or cut the end off of it and polished it up after. And I didn't actually even polish it, I just sanded it to I think 1000 grit, and it's still pretty damn shiny. Pretty solid, it weighs quite a bit too. I have a bunch of pieces like that. This little rock might have been in one. I don't even know exactly what this is. It could be just hard dried up mud or something, maybe calcite. Does just look as funky to me. And I also should have cleaned it before this video because it's starting to tarnish, but you should be able to see silver up in that top edge. And it looks really, really pure too. Like I don't think it's mixed with anything. But it's really not heavy, so it's probably just the two little pieces in the end basically in there. But it looks kind of neat, and it looked even neater before it sat for like a year and a half. So there's that. This one here was also etched out of calcite. I didn't actually clean or polish any of it because I didn't want to waste a bunch of it. It probably looks cooler in real life than it does in the video. Maybe not. It's hard to say. But this I'd like to slice lengthwise too, just because. Keep all this outsideness to it, the shape of it and whatever. There's a little lump of mostly cobalt, a little bit of silver in there. You can see it's not as shiny, and there's also nickeline. It's a little thin, darker, almost looks like, I don't know, like a herringbone nickeline almost, and silver, and cobalt. I don't fucking know. But anyway, so there's that. This is just a rock I cut before with a grinder. You can tell the marks from it, and then kind of sanded it down a bit. It's mostly silver. This video is going to be long. Another piece I just cut in half. Didn't really polish this one up much, but it looks pretty dendritic. This is also etched before. This is a piece I just kind of rubbed down the flat side on a piece of sandpaper. See, it's pretty damn shiny. It looks pretty pure silver. And this is just scrubbed with a brush. Okay. Nickeling. Okay, well, bring in the house, whatever. Nickeling that was cut and polished. Almost looks like copper. That's in calcite, of course. These little pieces, there's a whole bunch of them, are looking like maybe gallinos with a lot of silver in the mix. I don't know, they're pretty shiny. They seem shinier than cobalt would by itself, and not as shiny, or I should say light colored as silver would be. Like up here, it looks like there's a lot of silver in that edge. This one looks like it has a lot of silver in some spots. It's really hard to say, because like this one too, I don't know, maybe it's mostly silver. It just looks a bit different than the ones that are mostly pure, that you can tell, so it's hard to say. So a bunch of little nuggets, another piece that come out of the ground pretty shiny considering it's dirty. What else is in here? Another piece of mostly cobalt with the nickeling. It might be the other half of the other rock. Almost looks like the nickeling's like dendritic or like herringbone kind of stuff in it. This isn't polished either. I was just cut and sanded down, probably 120 grit. Little piece of cobalt and silver. This one, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but this corner looks a bit darker, and hopefully it actually shows the color, but this is basically solid silver with nickeling on this edge, and it's blended right through it so well that it almost disappears. Oh, there we go. You can see it a bit there. What else? Another piece of silver and nickeling both. You can definitely see the nickeling in that one. Hopefully the silver too. Another piece with nickeling and silver. It might be the other half of that other one from before. Nickeling on this side. It's nice and shiny. A little tiny piece. That's pretty pure silver. I don't know. That's just a piece of another big rock. So there's a bunch of those. This rock is basically a great big silver nugget. It looks super cool. I did sand it down. Just got bored with a little piece of sandpaper and rubbed it down. And that's what it came out looking like. Pretty neat. The other side's still pretty dirty and whatever. I scrubbed it. You can probably see some shininess from the silver, at least on like the top edges and stuff. Okay, you can see quite a bit. But anyways, so this side I rubbed down, and then once I was satisfied without going too far, I just took aluminum polish and rubbed it down too, and then I scrubbed it down after with a toothbrush with water and soap just to clean any kind of stuff off it, and that's what it's looked like since. It's fairly heavy too. There might be some cobalt mixed in there, but actually when you look at it in the sun, it looks pretty pure. Anyways, so there's all those, and then the reason for making the video. I'm gonna have to sit the phone down for a second, so bear with me. Hopefully I won't shut it off on accident. This is the rock that everyone has been wanting to see. I weighed it, and it weighs anywhere between 38 and 40 pounds when I pick it up and stand on the scale. So basically what we're looking at is not a huge rock, really. I mean, give a better comparison. It's not tiny, but it's like the size of a head, basically. And it weighs around 38 to 40 pounds. So There's a great big vein right through the middle of it. I'm gonna do, fucking bugs. Do my best to actually capture it in the video for you. And also down there, there's some silver sticking out of the host rock. So that tells me that this rock that looks like it weighs 15 pounds, probably most of that weight's coming from the silver. So is that vein that thick that it weighs that much, or does it also have little veinlets, we'll call them, that run out into other places, like to meet up with this vein, and who knows. But now hopefully you can see how rich this actually is. It's really kind of fucking stupid to try to see. But I didn't scrub it like a lot, but I scrubbed it enough so you can see there's a shitload of silver in that vein. Don't see much for cobalt, and there is definitely a spot that has some nickeling on the side, which starts here, but I'll flip it over and we'll see after. So like right up here, whoops, on this edge, that silver sticking out of there. Might be hard to see in here, but you can kind of tell now. But yeah, the whole vein is basically a big chunk of silver. It's pretty solid all through this part here, all the way down. Out of the way. Around here, you can see little bits that are just sticking out. They're super shiny. There you go. Yeah, here you can see the vein again from this angle. It's pretty rich. All the way down, there's like little chunks hanging off of it. Down here, all the way through. You can see a bit more calcite in the bottom part of it, but really it's a pretty big chunk of silver there. And then way out over here, so the vein's basically over here, right? You can see it. But way out over into here even, there's silver that you can kind of see in here. Oh yeah, you can see it for sure. So who knows how much actually goes into there for it to weigh that much. It's not a huge rock, like it's about 6 times heavier than you'd think it would be when you go to move it out of the way, when you think it's a rock under it that you're finding with the detector, but it's crazy. Flip it up here. Trying to one-hand this thing around is not the easiest. And I'm fucking sweating because it's hot as shit out here. Again. Anyway, so that little section of it, I don't know how well you can make it out, but obviously silver all here is pretty apparent. And it's really fairly solid all the way down there. The whole vein. Now you can start to see some green staining from the nickeling in here, but hopefully you can also make out that there's silver here, and there's even silver up here past that other calcite vein into the host rock on that side. Fucking thing. So with any luck, I'll either get a fortune for it, or I'll get it cut up and have some really cool stuff that I can either sell for a bigger fortune or keep for myself or whatever. So again, here in the host rock, you can see the silver sticking out, and the vein's way over here, from here to here. So it's about, I don't know, maybe another 2 inches or so, 1.5 inches or 2 inches past the vein, where it's showing on the host rock. Oops. Fucking phone does not like being that close to stuff. There we go. Anyway, so this side I don't think there's too much interesting. There is a little piece I've seen somewhere of pyrite on this rock too, just like off to the corner or whatever. So yeah, you can see the silver reflecting right out of the host rock there now. As soon as I move it in the sunlight, you can see it shiny as hell. Anyway, so that side, it's probably the thickest spot of the vein there. And then up in here you can start to see that's where that little thinner vein of nickeling is that runs down. And you can see just little trace amounts of it down here, but again, silver on the other side of it here, silver on the side of it up here. So silver obviously runs right through that little tiny little bit of nickeling on that edge. More up here in the host rock sticking out. I'd really like to see it way over here, but I just don't. So who knows how far it really goes. You'll have to actually cut it to see. And then the bottom, there's like a big lump of silver here. Hopefully it'll make it out decent. It's still dirty, but you can tell, hopefully in the video, you can definitely tell in person. And the difference in the color for the nickeline, it's pretty obvious because silver's silver and the nickeline's almost a coppery color. But yeah, so there it is. Well, I guess it's world famous, but 1 or 2 people around each place in the world know of it. So we'll call it world famous. My world famous 38 pounder. That's where she is, right there. And if you see any like red or something on there, like really bright or maybe blue, it's probably because it was on the floor in my living room and the kids have crayons laying around sometimes and it got slid over them. I did try to clean most of the crayon off. There's a couple little spots of it there. Ben knows when he was here, he's seen it looking like that. Yeah, otherwise I didn't really clean it anymore. I just kind of brought it outside and looked it over and make sure most of the crayon was off and clean the spots that had some. So yeah, it does come right out past about this far, past the main vein here on this side. You can see little bits maybe in here on this side. It's only about 3/4 of an inch, I guess, past the vein. Definitely a little down in here. So, what am I going to do with this thing? Besides look at it for another year. That's a good possibility. I kind of want to get it cut. I kind of want to just sell it to someone that has a lot of money to offer me for it. So I can buy a good detector instead of having none. Get a good pinpointer instead of relying on a cheap Chinese one. And I'd like to also get a tile saw so that I can make nice pieces out of like those rocks. Not so much those ones anymore. But yeah, you know, the rest of my pails and pails of rocks. So there will be another video eventually too, soon enough, that has just a pile more rocks like these kind of ones. Not so much bismuth, but just like silver, cobalt, nickeline. Damn, that one's shining in there. But anyways, and then I'll also have one of some slices that Greg cut for me, or Test 99991, or Me Miner Now is his channel on YouTube. So I have some of those polished up, and I'm going to do a few more, and then I'll make a video of those too, so that people can see the end results. I'm sure some people at least are anticipating seeing them or thought they never would, but there will be a video. So yeah, I do have like 20 times more of this that are good. To make a video, this is already at 33 minutes, it would take forever. So I'm going to call it here. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you made it right to the end, then you actually got to see the rock that everyone wanted to see in the first place. So thanks for watching.